Hey guys, on this episode, I have my friend Jill W on, and we get into a discussion about the lifestyle of an escort, a working girl. She worked in the sex trades for around 20 years. So it's kind of just a disclaimer, guys. There's lots of talk about drug use and sex work. So just a heads up if whoever you decide to listen or watch this with. But it's a great episode, and I'll have lots of episodes where I just have all walks of life on, right? And Jill's a really good friend of mine, and this is one of the most interesting interviews I've done to date. So I hope you guys enjoy. And if you like what I see, just share it. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever you got to do. And enjoy the episode. Thanks, guys. Peace. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Dougie Snake Show, or Lord Thunder and Jesus, or I got like 40 names for this. Yeah. Every 2 weeks I want to be somebody new, right?
Oh, okay.
So I have my friend Jill W here. Shout out Jill.
Hello.
And it was awesome. I actually come on a couple weeks ago, and it's so cool. I try to keep this 2 or 3 weeks booked ahead. And I don't want to go too far ahead, but in case something changes or comes up, and then you're here.
Yay.
So
I'm here.
Yeah.
Nice.
This
happy to be here.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We this is shot and recorded here in like the Burnaby area. So if you're listening, this is where this takes place. And yeah, Jill, I met you around 2 years ago, and I wasn't in too good shape when I met you. And then now we get to do stuff like this, so it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Was it White Spot or Triple O's you went to?
White Spot, like, well, whatever, same thing.
They're the same thing, but was it White Spot more official?
Yeah, I don't know.
White Spot's a burger
You didn't
chain.
know what a pirate pack was.
Is that like a Happy Meal there?
Yes.
You're like, let's get a pirate pack. So we're just talking about it's like a restaurant here in Vancouver. Are they anywhere else? I don't know.
I don't think so. No.
So I met you, and we got some interesting stories. I guess we could kind of get into it. I like, you mentioned you worked in a parlor before?
Yeah, I love your pause.
I know. I'm just
like,
yeah.
Yes, I did.
Explain to me what a parlor is.
Okay, parlors, so otherwise known as brothels, otherwise known as like massage parlors or rub and tugs or like escort agency in-calls. But yeah, basically in Vancouver, if anyone's from Vancouver that's listening, they have been around, they would know Madame Cleo's and the Swedish Touch. Those are like the two like really top ones.
Staples?
Yes, like they're like the most like high end, like those are like prestigious places to work. Like you want to work your way up to working there.
Okay.
I didn't start out there. No, I started at a place. So I moved here when I was like 18, and I literally like was like, I don't know, my whole life I was like obsessed with like strippers and like girls. I think it was because my dad one time, love you dad, but me and my sister were like homesick and my mom was at work. My dad had to stay home with us, and we were probably only like 8 or 9, but he let us watch Bachelor Party. I don't know if you know it, with like, do you know it?
I don't know if I see
it. You're too young, but like anyways, Tom Hanks. Okay, like there's like a donkey like overdoses on drugs and dies in the elevator. Like it's crazy. Like an 8-year-old, 8 or 9.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, watching this, and the strippers. That was the first time I've ever seen like strippers, and like it was a really inappropriate movie. But from that moment on, I became really obsessed with like women and like big boobs and like that look, that Pamela Anderson kind of like that was really popular. The blonde, and like I was just and then shortly thereafter, I found a Playboy magazine in the forest when I was like 10. Leafing through that.
Awesome.
It was great, right? Like again, I'm fascinated by these women, right? I like it. I think it's like powerful. I'm really like admiring these women. So it was like no surprise that when I moved to Vancouver, I was going to college and I met this girl who was doing like topless massage. She said it was topless massage.
Would this be at a place, or is this like in calls?
This was at a massage parlor. So she said like, oh, you want to earn extra money? I'm doing this topless massages. So I was like, oh, for sure. Followed her. Because I'm just fascinated by that whole industry. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm even finding myself like leafing to the back of like when we used to have phone books back in the 90s, and like in the yellow pages part, there's like ads for like adult entertainment type stuff. That's where I'm going to look for stuff. Like I'm curious, I'm fascinated. So anyway, so I follow this girl, Jocelyn, and I get the job there, and then I quickly find out it's not topless hand jobs or topless massage.
Yeah.
There's more to it.
There's more to it.
Yes, hand jobs. Other things, right? And so you could just offer that, but then you're not going to like make the money that you could make. So anyways, that was my first introduction, and it was a place called Intrigued by Touch. It was like on West Broadway. Do you know like Cloverdale Paint?
Yes.
And like, okay, it was right beside that.
Okay.
It's not there anymore.
Nice.
This was like 1997 or something.
What would be like a cut? Like, what would you have to pay the Parlor or whatever? Like in those days?
So I think it was so back then there was no such thing as like, hey, guys, I'm schooling everybody. So nowadays you might have heard of something called GFE, which stands for girlfriend experience. That was not a thing in the 90s.
Yeah.
I never heard of that. Was not like raised that way. We were
like
taught
sugar daddy stuff, right?
Well, yeah, and like doing like all kinds of stuff. So my first introduction to that kind of work was literally like very clinical. Like the guy comes in, the girls present themselves on the couch. The guy chooses the girl, and there's literally like massage tables, like, you know, that you're going to go to in the room. And then, so whatever fee they paid for the massage, I'm not sure what the house charge, it varies, right? But they pay for that. And then you go in with them, and then it's up to you. So you are in charge.
You can take it where you want to.
Yes, exactly. You can offer as much as you want or as little as you want, or like, you know, I was trained where like, you know, say if the guy was being an absolute asshole, or like after the massage, you turn him over and he might like have something questionable, like a disease or something. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, sir. All we offer here is massage. You know what I mean? So we were in charge. It was totally up to us. And that was great, because it's not like that today.
No.
Now they have something called all inclusive, which was coming around when I was kind of on my way out, where the Parlor will just literally hand you whatever it is, $100, $200, and you have to go in with that person no matter what and do full service.
Full service, really, eh?
Oh yeah. All inclusive. Not good.
So what years was this?
Okay, so 1990, that was 1997 that I was at that place.
Yep. It's funny because I was 7 years old. I was looking at porn then too.
You were 7?
So I remember.
Oh God.
I
was like 18.
I had a friend. He came to my house. Yeah, my friend came to my house. He knocked on my parents' door. He's like, "Come here, I gotta show you something right quick." I was like, "What?" He takes me outside. He had like these Game Boy cases. He had them buried. We start like digging. I'm like, "What the fuck? Did he have a handgun or something?"
Yeah.
He had all these Playboy magazines folded up and buried like a little treasure. And I remember looking it up, and like some girl had a big spread on it. And I was just like, I remember I couldn't eat supper.
Some of his pages like sticky.
I don't know what. I get home and I remember like I was having trouble eating supper, and my father was like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "Nothing." Because I just seen this, or I was like traumatized. I didn't know what the fuck I was looking at. But
no, see, for me, I was like a late bloomer. Like it was like a couple days before my 18th birthday that I had even had sex. I didn't have boyfriends in high school. I had no boobies either. I think that kept me a virgin for a while, because if guys try, I would stuff my bra. So when guys tried to get to like that base, they were blocked. So
you would shut it down?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I can't have them find out like I got these
chicken
cutlets in my bra. Right? So yeah, totally flat chested. So when I got a job at the Parlor, it was like hilarious, because I would stuff my bra and present, and then I get chosen, but then you're already on the table all, you know, fucking exposed. You're not going to turn me away when I walk in with no boobies.
You fucking bitch. That's they'd be like, God damn. Okay, so I walk into the Parlor, everyone's on the couch, right?
Yeah.
And now, so there'd be like a minimum rate, and then me and you could work out something separate?
Exactly, yeah.
How long did you do this for? Like, just to be like...
Oh my gosh, so, like, well, that job, I quit. I left there because, like, so my first time there, this woman from Miami, she owned it. She was amazing. She taught me everything I knew, right? Like, and... like, it was amazing. Just everything about it I learned from her, right? And so, like, I mean... to be like, just I have no like filter. So she taught us how to like fake fuck.
Yeah, no, this is called off the rails.
Right, off the rails.
Yeah. So.
Yes, rails off your body.
Fake fuck, what is that like?
So like, you know, you have like the guy. So if you're gonna agree on full service, we get a lot of like Asians. They're not super well endowed, so it was kind of easier. So like you have your hand, right? So like, you know, say they want to have sex, but you've kind of got your hand there. You've got your hand there. So you're like, they think they're doing you, but you're just, it's
really you have lube or something?
Yeah. And you're just kind of squeezing them between your thighs. Like, it's a real technique. But I learned that from her. And, you know, a couple times people would be like, move your hand.
Move
your hand. I'm like, no, you know. Or like if they were taking too long, you know, you just finish, like, just, okay, you're gonna fucking hand job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Go
like,
hard.
this is too long. But yeah, so she taught me everything. And then these two men took over because she went back to Miami. And these two men came over, and I just didn't like working for them. So I left there. And then I tried to do some square stuff for a bit. I was working at a daycare. And then I kept driving by on Hastings towards like North Burnaby.
Yep.
There's a little place. I think it's still there. You'll see like the lips on the door. It's kind of a clue.
Now that I know, I'll look at it.
Yes, look for it. That one's called Diamond Body Care. And so I kept driving by it, and I'm like, oh, fuck, it's calling for me. So I got a job there, and I worked there for like a few years, I think, like a couple of years, like till like 2003, I think.
Would you be partying during this too?
Yeah, so that's when I started to like really, because the first place we were taught by that woman, like, you don't party, right?
Okay.
Like if you had drugs or
So
alcohol
this woman
on
sounded
site.
established, did she? She was kind
Oh yeah, she ran a tight ship, and it was a proper job, right? Like, 9 to 5, or do you work 5 till midnight? Like, you had to work 5 shifts a week. Like, it was.
Was it safe there?
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah,
I never had any issues there at all.
Okay.
Never. No, that was like where I turned out, right? That's what you call it,
Yeah.
right? So I was like green, then I turned out there, and then I took what I knew there, got the job at Diamond Body Care, and that place was a little more questionable.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't mind, clients coming in and like, drugs or alcohol being around.
Present, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. I remember I had this one guy. So he used to like come in, and he would like literally put like rails on the massage table.
Yeah.
Like 4 or 5 fat rails.
Yeah.
And like then he'd put $100 bill by every rail. So if I could do them, I'd get that $500.
Really?
Oh
eh?
yeah. And I'm just, I'm 21 or 22 at the time.
That's a lot of money
Yeah, right?
for a rail. Seriously, yeah.
So at first I'm like, okay, this is cool. But then I'm like so high, and then it kind of fucked me over because I wouldn't want to like see anybody else after, because I'm too stoned.
I get it.
But then, Q, when he would come in, I'm kind of like almost like I need those drugs. And like, I don't really even care if you line them up with $100
Yeah.
bill. I just want the drugs.
Yeah. So that was
I
like
blame him for like fueling my addiction. No.
so that was like
That
kind of
guy.
start as like a be a base thing. What you started to need.
Like I had already done drugs, and I was already like, a drinker.
Yeah.
And I had already been partying since I was like, 11 or 12. So it's like not that I was just introduced to drugs at this parlor. That's not the case. It's just that this was the first time that I had been working.
and then done drugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like I had a couple escorts in my time, but it was never really a big thing.
Yeah. It wasn't me, because he was like 7.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's just be clear.
So I always think too of like anytime I'd have one over or whatever, right? This would be like there would be drugs around, or that would be almost the first question to be like,
Yeah.
you got any blow or oxys or anything like that, and most of the times I did.
Yeah.
So that whole lifestyle, it was just like I was like, Jesus. Another thing I think too is if I could have been like brought it, like let's say if I was like a lady or whatever, and I had that, like I don't know if I'd be sober today.
Yeah.
Because I was like dipping into my pension and like really like beat up, and I don't know. I'm like, I always think about that. I'm like, Jesus, eh?
Yeah.
I'm like, and like if I ever see a girl that's sober, I'm just like, it's a fucking godsend.
Yeah.
When I think about that, and I don't
Well,
know.
it's because like you have the money, like you have the resources, you have like,
What was the money
That's
like?
one thing that the lady did tell us too. Like I remember that lady said, what did she say? She's like, yeah, it's like the best business, because she loved Heidi Fleiss, so she would tell us a lot of Heidi Fleiss things, and she said like, you're about to learn the best business ever, because you have the product, and then you sell it,
Yes.
and then you still have the product,
You still have
so
it.
you sell it again. Like she was fabulous, and I remember she gifted me on my 1 year being with her. It's all so strange now, but like it was a real world. It was my world, right?
No,
So it was very
100%.
normal to me. But she gifted me the book by Heidi Fleiss. It's called Pandering.
Okay.
It's just like a beautiful, like large book of like everything Heidi Fleiss. So that was like my idol. So I still have that book, actually. I should have brought it. It was kind of cool.
We'll next time you're around,
Okay.
we'll do some readings.
Yes. Yes.
So you went to this parlor,
Yeah, that
Then
place.
you went to
that
the
was a little seedier.
the shady one. How long were you at the shady one for?
Like a couple of years, long enough to like just. Oh, I had a boyfriend at the time too, like a boyfriend who I met because he was dropping off his nephew at the daycare that I was working at. So I was like, like the good girl by day.
Yeah, yeah.
And then anyways, he ended up finding out, and it was horrible. Poor guy. And he was like crushed. But I think I was there for like 2 years. But then what happened was they got new owners. So I was out there for like 3 years, I think, actually. And then they got new owners, and that man came in and he introduced all inclusive. That was my very first time ever hearing all inclusive. And I was like, okay, what's that? So that's when they give you the money up front, right? And I don't like that, right? Because at this point, like I'm independent.
Yeah.
I choose what I'm going to do, right? If I don't like you or if we're not vibing or you're a fucking asshole.
Get out of there quick.
Yeah, you're just getting a topless massage or something. And then I'm just going to, or whatever. And so I control my money, how much I can charge, what I'm doing in the room varies on who I'm seeing in the room, right? But if they just give you the money, and actually I'll never forget it because, so it went all inclusive. I was like, okay, I'm going to try to stick this out. Cause I had heard about Madame Cleo's, right? But I didn't think I was good enough to work there yet. Mm-hmm. Like I was, Madame Cleo's, it's not there anymore, but if you knew it and people that know it, like those girls are absolutely stunning. And it's like right on Richards, right? And so you'd have like the outdoor girls too, and they're stunning as well. Huge, like
what's an outdoor girl, like literally outside the venue, or
like outside, like with a pimp, like working on the street. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but like the gorgeous, like high end, like that's called high track down there, right? Okay. So like it's you want to be there, and the money is like sick there, and you hear all these things about Madame Cleo's, and it was my goal to.
That's like the major leagues.
Yes.
That's like the NHL.
Thank you.
Parlors.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
So I want to work there, but so they introduced this all inclusive. I'll never forget it because I was just about to eat my lunch, and whenever that happens, the fucking doorbell rings, and I'm like, damn it, hungry. So I kind of like went out to do the couch presentation, and I'm like not trying to look at this guy. Like I'm just looking kind of disgusted at him because I just don't want him to pick me because I want to get back to my lunch. Mm-hmm. Fucking picks me. I'm like, damn it. Oh, so then she gives me the money. So I'm already choked, right? So now my lunch is interrupted. This guy, like I looked at you disgustingly, yet you chose me anyways. Mad.
It's probably a fetish of his.
Yeah. I'm going to make her fuck me.
Fucking right.
Like, yeah. So I go in with my little measly $200 and I know I'm going to have to do everything. And the guy's like sitting on the edge of the like massage bed or whatever. And I just remember he has these like big man boobs.
Nice.
And he's just like, oh, like, cause he must have heard me, right? He's like, oh, did I interrupt your lunch? I'm just like, I can't do this. So I turned around, I fucking like threw the money back at the manager or whatever. I was like, here, take it. Like, I'm out of here. And I literally like cleaned out my locker and like left. And I just like was like, I went home and I was like, I'm going to apply at Madame Cleo's. Like, fuck that place, right? Because like, I can't do that. I can't just do whatever they want me to do for $200 now. It's like, no. So anyways, then I got the job at Madame Cleo's.
What does applying at a parlor look like?
Literally normal, like you're getting a job. So you have to have your resume.
So, and would you have other venues you worked at?
Yes. Yeah.
Let's say if you worked a street corner, would that be on there?
No.
Okay.
No, we're like different than those girls, even though some high track girls would work at Madame Cleo's when it's cold or the winter or whatever. Yeah. Like I remember when I was still kind of green, I was going to apply at this other place. This is hilarious. So I go to apply at this place and they have the application or whatever. And like, I'm pretty green at this point. Needless to say, I didn't get the job because then they said like, okay, like, things you won't do or whatever. Like it was on the plate, like what won't you do kind of thing. And so I was like, oh, cool. You have a choice. I'm like, not to be rude, but I was like, I was like black guys, East Indians. They're like, no, we mean like Greek. Like, would you let guys go down on you? We don't mean what kind of guy. I'm like, oh, I won't do black guys. I won't do East Indians. Oh, this is cool. They're like, no.
So I didn't like get anal and stuff like
that. Yeah. I was like, I thought they meant like which kind of guy. I'm like so green. But anyways. But Madame Cleo's, so you have your resume, you go in, you get an interview, and there's like parlor managers. So the manager, will give you an interview, chat to you about like what is the rules there, because every rule is like every place is different. That place was really amazing. Like that's why the money was so sick, because she ran it tight. Like there was a book, literally a workbook that you needed to learn with about like 129 rules that she could ask you at any time. Like what's rule number 61 or whatever. And it would be anything from like, in the hallways, make sure you're always holding the client's hand or whatever.
Touch is big, eh?
Oh yeah.
So these rules, like how long did it take you to learn them? Or did you make this a
priority? You have to bring it home and you have to study it so that like you could be like, she was just like, she was a crazy madam. She was, she was on my resentment list for years. Yeah. But she was only doing her job. But that's why people would put up with her abuse, because like the money was so sick, right? Like I'm talking like if you walk in there for your shift and like you have a tiny bit of like roots showing, you're sent home. Or like your toenail is chipped, like the polish is a tiny chip, you're sent home.
So the best of the best.
The best of the best. Like you're the best. Yeah, you're gonna make sick money. Like I remember I started to make really good money there, and I got a place on Homer between Nelson and Smythe, like a freaking like penthouse. Like this is like my life. Early 2000s. Loving it. Like just thinking like I have arrived. Like I'm at the best parlor. I have like and you'd have to. So there. she had a lot of rules. So you had to have a certain number of regulars, like regular clients that come back to see you. You had to have a certain number of extensions, meaning they've paid for an hour, but you need to entice them to stay longer, right? If you don't have these things, you're out, right? Because there was a roster. And you would be either A, B, C, D, like how you were doing in her books. Like
so you want to be on the A team.
Yeah.
Gotcha. You
totally.
want you and Mr. T, you want to be on that funny guy.
Yeah.
The A team.
And you had to have your room perfect. There was different themes for different rooms and they had to be cleaned exactly perfectly. Like if she found like even a little condom wrapper, like you're fucking sent home.
Would you have your own same room every shift?
No, it's whatever the client picks. Like there was a Roman room and a mirrored room and a dance room and a Japanese style room. It was really amazing. I wish you had a chance to go there.
What was your favorite room?
I liked the Roman room because I liked the lighting in there. And then also there was a black light room. And that one, you always look hot in black lighting, right? I could have like, just mowed McDonald's and been like, I'm so sexy.
Yeah,
like,
I'm all below it.
Yeah, I like that one. I hated the one with the pole or whatever. Like, I didn't want to dance.
Tacky.
Yeah, no. I'm like, I'm not a stripper. Like, let's not pretend.
so they picked a room and you'd have like, how many regulars would you have?
Well, like when I was doing really well there, I'd have like, I don't know, like I like there wouldn't be a day that there wasn't like regular bookings for me or whatever. I had a lot of regulars, but there was a lot of like competition there and like, you know, so because I had a lot of regulars, girls would start rumors like, oh, it's because she lets them like eat her out or she sucks her dick with no condom or whatever. Like it was really like the girls.
So that's crazy, eh?
Terrible, yeah. And we're all like in this small room together, a bunch of girls, like, you know.
And they'd start talking shit.
So competitive, right? So, or they would do shit to like get you in trouble, right? Like throw a condom in your room and shit. So Rebecca would find it and like all these things. But we'd have a lot of celebrities there.
Nice.
Athletes. Like,
really?
I could drop some names, but
we don't. We'll keep it. You know.
I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
If
you guys don't subscribe to this podcast, we're dropping your name. So if you're watching this and you know Jill, you know what's up, motherfuckers. We blackmail 101.
Yeah. Subscribe or else.
So what would be like if how much money would I need to even go in this place?
So the minimum that you had kind of set standards there. A hand job would be like $100.
Yeah.
Right. Oral with a condom, which I thought was like always interesting. Even like you could have like a condom like doing the hand job. Guys would actually like pay for that. I'm like, why would you pay for that? Like,
this is
pathetic
awesome.
Fuck.
Yeah.
But anyways, and then so oral was like around 175, full service. So like everything you could charge up to like $500, right? And you're typically done in like 5-10 minutes if you know what you're doing.
Yep.
So I thought it was pretty good money. And mind you, like this is not girlfriend experience. There's no kissing. Like I'm way over here. Like you're not touching me.
Yeah.
You're not sucking my tits. Like you're not doing anything.
And they're not allowed to, right?
No.
No.
It's like, no. So I liked that too. Because it was just very like your job.
The no kissing rule, is that like, so there's like not much affection and there's like not attached, or is that just like a health thing? Do you know what that is?
No, I just think at that point.
It's been like that way for like since ever, right? Like the no kissing.
Well, yeah, but now it's not. Like now, like, because I know a couple girls that still work. I'm like, I don't even know how you do it. Like now they have the codes. So they do like DATI. I don't know if you know what that is.
No, what is it?
Stands for dining at the Y. That is going down on the girl.
Yeah.
And like back then, if somebody wanted to do that, we would charge them a lot, but we would have dental dam. So we put the dental dam in front of us and they just have to like, so it's so like you're protected.
Yeah, no, I know.
They're simulating it or whatever. But now this girlfriend experience, it just blows my mind. I'm like, I don't even know. I wouldn't be able to make money.
It seems like it's a lot more like unsafe.
Yeah. And like, why would you want a client that would be okay with that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing too. When clients would ask me like if they could do certain stuff, I'm thinking like, I'm a prostitute.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know who else I've been.
Who was just in here.
Yeah. Like, I don't want you as a client if that's what you want. You like the clients that I would get, like Big Fish or whatever, they were great. They were fine to pay $500, super clinical, get it done, and then just like chat the rest of the time or whatever, right?
I have a buddy, and I remember one time like he finished pretty quick with this girl, and then she was like getting her stuff up, and he's like, bitch, we got 45 minutes. He like picks up that Xbox controller. He's like, play some NHL with me. So they're just like all like pooped out, like playing Xbox. I was just like,
oh my God.
Jesus.
So our boss you would get fined if you came out early, which I thought was like really ridiculous because she was kind of sick. She wanted to like punish you. She would want you in there for the full hour, even though you're done. So that was really annoying because you have to really draw out the massage before you like turn them over and like make sure you're watching the clock, that you're not letting them leave early, even if they wanted to go.
That was probably like a repeat business thing.
Yeah.
Was that what you think?
Yeah, I think so. And she was just another one of her rules. Control, probably. Yeah. We had so many rules.
Listen, we're going to take a 2-minute break here.
All right.
Then we're going to get back at it. Sound good?
Okay, yes.
This podcast is sponsored by throwing your trash in the neighbor's yard or in the local park where kids play and frolic. For the past 16 years, people have been litter shaming, but now you can live free and litter proudly. Try it out today, where your first 5 months are free. After the 5 months trial is expired, all we require is your blood, social insurance number, and your sister.
Welcome back, guys. I'm here again with Jill W. It's Dougie Snakes here. And we were just talking about parlors and stuff like that. We'll continue that. You mentioned, so that last place you worked at, how long you were there for again?
I went to England because I needed a little break, did a little geographical, but I was there for like a few years, and then I went to England, and then I came back and I got my job back there. But then what happened was they were going to be building on Richards, so they were going to be tearing that place down, which was like a real shame because it had been there for like so long. Staple. Yeah, so they got rid of like Richards on Richards the nightclub, like they got rid of Madame Cleo's, like, you know, anyone that is ever down by Richards and Helmicon, it used to be on that corner, but now it's all like condos and apartments or whatever. So she couldn't get the license. It was grandfathered, so she wasn't able to like recreate it. So I moved along, went to the Swedish Touch, which was like another great parlor. That's the one that's in the same building as Brandy's. Okay. Brandy, who's deceased now, she owned it. So she was working at the Swedish Touch, and one of her clients bought her Brandy's. So it used to be called Level 5. It was a nightclub, really popular with like when, you know, we had the Grizzlies, right? Back then, the Grizzlies. Yeah. So a lot of basketball players and like whatever. And so anyways, her client bought her this strip club and she called it Brandy's, and that's how the story goes. So I got a job there. So that was another kind of different. It was a similar style as Madame Cleo's for sure. But, you know, God bless her, Brandy liked drugs. So we could do drugs, right? So that's when my drugging really amped up.
Were these things allowed to exist, or were they illegal?
Okay, so in Vancouver, a lot of people don't know this, but private prostitution is legal. Okay, public prostitution is not. So living off the avails of prostitutes, like pimps, johns, outdoor, like street stuff, is illegal. But indoor prostitution, believe it or not, is legal. So at this time, like I've went to City Hall. I've taken a massage certificate course. I have a escorting license. Okay, so I'm filing taxes. Right?
Really? Eh?
Yes, I'm doing them. Like obviously, like I'm like a server, right? Like I'm not gonna. I'm not claiming all my tips.
Give me $500. You're saying he paid me $2.
Exactly.
I gotcha.
Yes. So, but yeah, like you can get your license from City Hall at that time. You have an independent escort license. The massage parlors are legal, but there is like obviously like rules, and we'd have a little button if like feds come in. Yeah.
A little Jodie Foster.
You get dressed, right? Yeah, totally get dressed, and like it's a massage parlor, right? Massage. But no, private is.
They'd probably let you be, right? They'd probably rather have it there than.
We had clients like cops, judges, lawyers, like high-powered people. They're the sickos, though. The powerful ones. Oh my God.
Are they? Eh?
Oh yes. Like
if I was a mad him, I'd have that place wired for sound. I'm not doubt we could probably get into that, but I'd be going to court. I'd be like, you look out for familiar, buddy.
Totally.
Yeah.
So. Remember the dental floss?
Yeah, exactly.
Pulling it along your nuts so they bleed.
Yeah.
Calling you a piece of shit.
There, a lot of that, like, would...
A lot of sick fetishes.
Tell
you one, because I know we don't have tons of time, but one, my favorite...
Go ahead.
Okay, my favorite one is a balloon fetish.
Okay.
Not sure if you're familiar with the balloon world. Well, it's a big thing. I wasn't either, but this man would come in, he'd have a bag of balloons, and what he would like me to do is blow them up and pop them, and he's beating himself off, right? And he's getting so excited.
Are you naked?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Blowing them up, popping them, blowing them up. But I don't have to touch him. Like, I'm getting a bit winded, but whatever. And I asked him one day, I said, like, why is this like turning you on so much? Like, why do you love this? And he told me, he said, like, for one, there is a balloon fetish community. But what happened for him was the first time that he got an erection and was aroused, he was at a kid's birthday party, like as a child, like, a 9 or 10-year-old. And he got his first erection, and a balloon had popped, and there was balloons around at this party. And it really
That's some inner child shit.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Like, so that was a weird one, but a fun one. I don't like the ones about like the mom or like, like the hitting you. Like I had one guy who wanted you to put like cigarette butts out on him and
really,
like, hit him with your stiletto and stuff. I can't do that.
So like, but would you have to go like, so let's say if I wanted you to put smokes out on me.
Yeah.
Well, could that ever be a thing? Or would you be just like, no fucking way?
The girls would do it.
But like, would they have to clear that with a madam or whatever?
No.
Okay. So they could just do it. And then you kind of had your own.
Yeah.
So when you got back from England,
Yeah.
you're doing this stuff, and with this balloon fetish, was this like towards the middle of it or the end of your career? Or?
No, I can't remember. He was somewhere and dispersed in there somewhere. Like when I went to England, I worked in a brothel too.
Yeah.
And that was a trip experience too, because I had actual like girls that were like sex trafficked from Lithuania that I worked with. Like it was.
So were they controlled the whole time?
Yes. And so me being there by choice, it was very bizarre. But these girls, and I didn't know this at first, right? I don't know that this has happened, but it was a Lithuanian owner and his wife. And so she would go to Lithuania and tell these girls, like, you can come with me, like, you'll get a job in this restaurant, like, da da da. And they literally had their passports. These girls were there, like, not by choice. I was in a different room than them because when I'd start to talk with them, that's when they were like, okay. I was also the only person that didn't have to live there. They lived there. I had my own flat in England. But like, I remember one time like doing laundry and I was walking by just through the hallway or whatever. And my laundry basket bumped this clock on the wall and it fucking moved and there was a hole. So he would like watch us. So then after that, I would never pick that room. I'm like, oh no, I don't want to go number 2. I'll do number 4. Like, cause you fucking freak.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Just creepy shit. 10-minute sessions there too. So the John would like literally have to be in his car already getting himself like aroused and walking for 10.
Having like 80%.
Just blow his load. He'd be on the intercom, the owner, like, hey, you got 5 minutes. It's like, Jesus, this is rushed. But whatever.
Were
and
you
you're getting
ever
paid in pounds too, so it was better.
Did you ever think you might get like disappear or something over there? Like
yeah, like I mean, to be honest, that's the only sad like part of the whole career. Like nothing bad happened to me by like, it was more like the madams and the other girls that I would like have some things around. But like my actual experiences with the clients, like I was lucky, right? Like there was a couple scary times, but I wasn't, I was just, I was doing drugs and drinking, so I wasn't really of sound mind and I wasn't thinking of those things, right? I'm just thinking about money. And it's also become my normal life. This is all normal. I know it sounds so crazy to people listening and they're just like, oh my God, right? But to me, it was completely normal and it was going on for like 20 years. Like it was like my career.
Yeah, well,
right?
that's like, I was down in Central America and I hang out with these tons of crazy Mexican guys, right? The main guy name was Evil. Yeah. Spelled EVOL.
Oh,
anyway, I kind of come to and I remember like they were going into a whorehouse down there. And I remember
whorehouse.
There was that's what
we don't call them that.
I know. I'm so sorry. But anyway, they close this door. It's like a jail cell padlock door. And I remember like Body puts the padlock on and I'm down here like not really. And I'm like, I think this is like the end of my life, right? Yeah. But that was so nobody would come in and rob us.
Oh, okay.
But when I seen that padlock, because this was like kind of like a crazy place. This is like Nicaragua, Parlor down there basically, right? But it was like me. Anyway, I remember when that door closed and the padlock like locked. I don't have like no cell phone service because I wasn't paying my bill. I just took a random flight down there because the oil sands thought I was going back to Cape Breton. So I like was just like booked this trip down there, and I remember being like, I think this is it for me. So I can't imagine. That was just like one little trip of like one night I was down there. So these stories. So you were. So
it was more like if I was doing stags, I got to do a few stags, right? Okay. Like stag bachelor parties. Would that be
alcohol?
Alcohol, like drugs. Yeah, those were more nerve-wracking to me, even though you had a driver that would take you there. But then I'm there with so many men, so I would feel a little bit nervous, of course, like with just...
Because you were in their setting, right? You would go...
Yeah, in their house or like in wherever the hotel that all these guys are in. They were usually like those classic, fucking...
Bros.
Troy bros. Yeah. So those weren't the greatest. But no, I think I was so like wrapped up in that world and entrenched in that lifestyle that it didn't occur to me about like what might happen to me. Because I think about it now and I literally like shudder.
Like how are you alive?
Yeah, like
I think about that a lot. But like you said, when you're in that insanity, this is what I'm doing. Like like all the shady shit I've done over the years, I would just think like now I look back because I'm like I just want peace in my life all the time, right? Yeah. And I see a confrontation, I'm like I'm not going to jail because this guy put his garbage on my lawn or something like that. I'm gonna go hit this guy with a hammer. Yeah. But my mind wants to go there. Yeah. That's how I am now. Yeah. But when you're in that insanity, you're like. You have accepted it.
Yeah,
this is how I'm going to live my life.
Oh, totally. Plus, and then late, so the Swedish Touch or whatever was like one of the last places I worked, and that's when my like drug use had really progressed, right? So like at this point, and because we're allowed to do that there, right? And like it was kind of a tourist trap. Like that place, we could just like fuck. It was. She would just let us charge whatever. Like if we saw you coming, you're an actor, like even an athlete, whatever. Like she'd say charge whatever. Right.
Really,
so like thousands, right? Like, get me your like endless limit visa and let's go to town and let's feed them lots of drugs so they get too paranoid to leave and then just keep them in here and keep charging. Yeah. Oh yeah. That place was like a free for all.
Did they charge you for your drugs? Like not like would you get charged for drugs?
No.
Or would you get them to pay for it and you just do it?
Yeah, exactly. I had my ways. But yeah, I worked there during the Olympics, right?
Okay.
So that was nuts because
What year was this? Was it 2008?
2008, 2010.
So the Olympics, that was here in Vancouver?
Yeah.
Okay, whenever them Olympics were, yeah?
Yeah, so whenever the Olympics were, and we had all the athletes were staying in the Olympic Village. That's what it was like made for. And we had like, but it was nuts because so she let us stay open 24/7, like just 24/7. Okay, just nuts. And I remember at one night there was like what's it called when people protesting, like women and shit, like with their signs, like about these whores upstairs and like all this shit going down. And I was just like, oh my God. But it was like a time, right? Like it was just like, it was just crazy. Like the amount of money was sick. And I just like regret, like that's a regret, right? Just spending it on like drugs. Like I had a great time. I traveled a lot. You know, if we wanted to rent a fucking boat, we rented a boat in the summer. If we wanted to stay at this mansion, we stayed, like, you know, we did whatever we wanted, right? So it was it was fun, right? But I mean, like, but I also know some girls who didn't have a drugging problem. They own like a bunch of condos now, and they've like made a lot of money and put themselves through like fucking their doctors, like, you know.
It doesn't matter how much money you make, you'll spend it all. I was thinking about like when I see other drug addicts or something on the street, people like, I could throw $1 million at every one of them. They'd be broke within a year.
Yeah. Like I didn't think I was going to make it past 40, right? At this point, I really did.
Like,
so I'm like, I'm not trying to plan and save for the future. Like I'm not going to be here. Yeah. I literally did not think, like I'm 43 now. And I'm like, how did that happen? I don't know how I'm still here, you know, but no, those were good times, you know? And I do think about Brandy because she is passed away, and you know, that time in my life, it was fun, right? Like it's a fast life, right? It's very fast. And like, you do have a lot of that, like it is like that glamorous time.
It's rock star shit too, right?
It is. And you get the athletes and the celebrities and like just even you dress up, right? You're always in the fanciest lingerie and you're always like wearing heels and like, you know, you've got your hair and makeup done and like, you're just at your peak, right? Like it's a real life. But then cue drugs and alcohol. And then, you know, we're talking about all these parlors and it's just like, but like, you know, like let's fast forward to when it's like, I'm like not employable. Yeah. I'm not employable at those parlors anymore. Like I've done all the things you're not supposed to do as well. Like I've given my number out to clients, which you're not allowed to do. So like I have a bad rep now, right? Yeah. Like I'm shady, I'm like stealing, I'm like overcharging, or I'm like, you know, the guy's in the shower and I'm like, maybe taking some money out of his pocket. Like I'm doing bad shit and not getting along with any of the girls. I'm not even trying. Like I'm bullying people. Like I'm not employable. And so, you know, but this is the only life I know. Yep. So I got to still survive. So I luckily had like 2 really good clients. And like one of them is so adorable. And I will just tell you that I just called him the handicapped Jap because he was like this Rain Man. Yeah. He was like not handicapped, but he was like a Rain Man, right? Like just an idiot savant. Yeah. But like he was adorable. Just
banging numbers.
I think he was Chinese, but that doesn't rhyme. No. So handicapped Jap it was.
Handicapped Jap.
He took care of me and my other friend who's passed away now too, Gordon. And those guys were like my last, like they were like the people that carried
they
me
stuck
through.
Around?
They stuck around, yeah. And then I had my own little business. I was like had an ad on Backpage. I don't know if you know what Backpage is.
Oh, I know what Backpage is.
Okay, yeah, all right, yeah.
Backpage is like an escort service. If you guys are watching, or you don't know. Is that like on the bottom of the barrel? And I don't mean disrespect to anybody, but that's like
especially from where I come from, right?
Yeah,
like
there's that level is that like
that's embarrassing. That's like you're working at McDonald's after you were like, you know, some sort of hedge fund manager or something.
Okay.
Yeah. So that, and you know, and at this point, like I'm like a grocery hoe. Like I'm doing these things for like my basic needs, right, and to support my daughter, and you know, it's just not what you're not flush anymore. No, you're just getting by with like your 2 little clients
and scraping by.
Yeah. Like
were you coke? Were you ever in opiates?
Yeah, I had my little stint with them, but I did. So there was a store on Hastings and Gore called the Newer Store. It's not there anymore, but yeah, they sold all that shit, and that was like I did have a little stint with that, but fucking my money, right? Like I remember one month I spent like 30 grand on pills. Oh, and then you're just so addicted. And I remember me and my sister, we flew to Vegas to dry out. Like that was like we were doing our own rehab. Yeah. So we like had this client that was going to bring us to Vegas, and so we like literally dried out in the desert. It was the most painful, like like, you know, just to get off that shit. And like I hadn't been on it that long, so like thank God. But like bad enough that like you're in pain, right? So Vegas was
Withdrawal
it. I
sucked.
brought enough to taper off, right? And then literally drying out in the desert and like just like, oh, it was terrible. I've never touched that stuff again, thank God.
For opiates, like for guys, when I take opiates, it's really hard for me to come, right? Or
Yeah.
like to get off. Was it the same for girls, or would you even know?
Well, see, like now you're talking to a career working
Yes,
girl.
yes.
I never got off.
Okay.
We're not like I'm not that girl.
Yeah.
Right. That's like work. I worked with a lot of girls who were like very like nymphomaniac
Yeah.
who really enjoyed sex, and that's why it was like a perfect job for them. It's not that it was enjoyable. I was just very good at it.
Yeah.
I was very good. Like you're coming in 5 minutes. Like
Yeah.
I know exactly what to do. Right. Like I was just very good at my job. And people liked me, right? Because I was like personable and nice and like just fun and just good, right? So anyways, but I don't know about that. But
I was
those were the
curious.
kind of clients that I didn't like, though. The ones that like we just were having a really hard time getting it up or keeping
Fucking
it
wear
up.
you out if you got to do it all day.
Oh,
right?
you're just exhausted, right? Like I can't with your bubblegum dick. Like I need you to go. I can't do it.
Shooting pool with a
So
rope.
yeah, we skipped the part when I worked in Fort McMurray.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's why I thought of that, because in Fort McMurray there was a lot of cocaine and there was a lot of bubblegum dick.
Yeah.
And I just fucking hated it. And these fucking trailer parks and these work sites and these guys are just like so goon.
You're just painting a picture of my life right now.
I'm like, your dick doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
gotta go, and just sweaty and just like
Bad.
oh,
Like a stack of dimes.
oh my God. Yeah. And then we used to call that like never mind.
When you first see that, when you would like knew with this, like, so you go in, buddy's all coked out, can't get it up, would you just be like, motherfucker? Would you be like, here we go? Mm-hmm. Because it's like,
Yeah.
because you were getting
Because like only if some were great because they just wanted somebody to talk to
Yeah.
and stuff and like just hang out and whatever, and I'm fine with that. But like when they're actually really just intent on making like having to come in that hour, like it's not gonna happen, buddy.
No.
It's not happening.
No.
I gotta go. Like my fucking arm hurts because like I'm not gonna let you try to shove yourself
Yeah,
in
yeah.
me with your little
Fold
half
it
heart.
in.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're getting a fucking hand job. Like that was my classic go-to, and it's like my arm, right? Just stop it. Just admit your dick's not gonna work today. Not your day.
How long were you in Fort Mac for? Was this just
16 days.
and that was enough?
Yeah. I wasn't invited back. You weren't allowed to drink there, but of course I did. You weren't allowed to party with the tricks, but of course I did.
Yeah.
So she didn't want me back. I worked for a place called Ladies of the North, and she was like, I ain't seen nothing like you. Like, you're not
Really,
coming
eh?
back. Oh, yeah. I was leaving there with like a big bag that I had been hiding in my closet of like my empties and clunking out, like just in disgrace. Like, I was supposed to be there for a month, but she kicked me out after 16 days. But I still made like 10 grand in that 16 days. The money is sick out there. Sick.
Well, because everyone has it out there.
Yeah.
Even, Fort Mac
Yeah,
is
because
expensive.
all they're doing is like the rig pigs, we used to call them.
Yeah. Well, you like work 3 weeks and then you might be off for a day or two. So it's like,
Yeah.
get an escort, or is that what they call in the parlor, as an escort?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that-
working girl,
So
escort.
what's like proper term? Working girl?
Either or.
Okay.
I didn't like whore.
I'm trying to be better, right?
Yeah, you're like, we went to this whorehouse. I'm
Yeah.
like, Dougie.
Yeah. You know, I'm
Yes.
trying to.
We went to this lovely gentleman's establishment.
Gotcha. So when was the last time you were a working girl? You say, when was this?
2016. So like my sobriety date is January 19th, 2016. That's like the day that I like quit everything, right? Quit smoking, quit drugging, quit drinking, quit tricking, everything.
You smoke cigarettes regularly?
Oh yeah, for fucking 20 years.
Me and
Even after I'd like have a kid, like I'd pick it back up. I love smoking.
Me too.
Smoking was fabulous.
that's what is it? I don't crave drugs and alcohol, but
Yeah.
I'll be like, I'll have like a nice big meal or something where like I literally
Yeah.
can't move, and I'm like, a fucking cigarette would be
Be
deadly
nice.
right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
But you're always smelling them too.
Yeah.
Like if I'm walking around or I go to a
You
meeting and I
smell
see
other
somebody
people?
smoking,
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like,
You're
I'm
like,
like,
ew, I
fuck.
smell like that.
I remember I used to change. I'd be like lighting them one after another, right?
Yeah.
And then I remember when I hooked up with my first girl that smoked.
Yeah.
I remember when I was like,
You're like, ew.
I was like, is this what the fuck I've been up to?
Yeah.
It's fucking disgusting.
Same with like, when somebody's really hungover or they were
Yeah.
drinking all night, that smell that's coming out of their pores. Like
Yeah.
that's what I must have smelled like all the time. It's like, ew, right? Just going along, doing my errands, thinking nobody can smell me. It's like,
Yeah.
ew, that reeks. It's that weird.
I think there's like a film on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just coming out like, oh God.
Super attractive.
Yeah.
Did you find it hard to adjust when you stopped doing that? Like, did
Well,
you-
thank God I had my husband.
Yeah.
Right. Like he had been wanting me to quit for a long time. Like when we met, I was fully in my life. That's the only life I've known. So I was really selfish as well. Same with how I was to my parents. Right. Well, you don't like what I'm doing, you don't accept it, like you're never seeing your granddaughter again.
Yeah.
This is my life. Like
leverage, right?
Oh yeah, just such an asshole.
Yeah.
And for him too, he was like my parents. He didn't condone it, but he didn't condemn it. He didn't know what to do with me, right? I was so indignant and selfish and just like running my life. So he never wanted to be the reason why I quit and then me resent him or something like that. And anyways, but it was like really like hard at the end there. It was really hard because the whole time that I worked, I never really had a boyfriend or like got involved with men.
Did you want to?
Yeah, but we were taught not to. And I didn't want it fucks with your money, right?
Yeah,
and I'd seen it so many times. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I was all about the money. So that'd be too complicated. But then when I met him, it was like, fuck, I got feelings for this guy. Like I didn't want to like him. I just started liking him and I was
you just like
damn
lit right
it.
up now too, I can tell.
Oh yeah, I remember the day. I remember driving in my car and then I was like, I think I'm falling in love with him. Like, oh my God, this is not good. So anyways, he didn't we fell in love. So when that day, but then things were bad and, hard. And then that day that I got that gift of desperation to like change my life, he was probably so excited. Like I literally called those 2 guys that I had and was just like, I'm moving to Toronto. Thank you for everything. Never contact me again. Click.
And did they?
No, like that's it.
Fuck.
These 2 people were like angels, like these 2 men. Like I'm sure they knew I was sick.
Yeah.
Right. Like, but I mean, they're sick too because why would you want to be with a sick fucking drug addict? But oh well, they did help me, right? Like they really did, and especially the one guy, and it's funny because even in sobriety, sometimes my brain can get good ideas. Like yours might get good ideas too. Like sometimes I think like, well, now that I'm sober, I could like become a madam. And now like, cause I know everything, I've got it all dialed in. I'm going to be the madam and I'm going to make all this money and I'm going to save it now cause I'm sober. Right. But then, but I need to get this funded, this idea to like have this massage parlor. And so I'm like, I'm going to look up Gordon and see if he's going to float me this loan.
I have them.
He died.
Well,
it was his obituary. I was like, thanks God.
Thank you for killing Gordon, God.
Sorry, Gordon.
In
heaven.
Pills. I used to sell pills when I was in Halifax.
Yeah.
And I would sell these certain pills for $25, $30, right? They're 25 cents downtown. That's how much they cost.
Wow.
And every now and then my mind is just like,
wow.
I'm like, so like my car insurance, like I pay my rent all by myself. I'm like, I wouldn't mind mailing like all those pills down.
Right.
I'll end up doing them if I do.
Oh,
right?
totally. If I turn a trick today, I'm getting loaded. I might as well fucking take a drink. Yeah, no, that's over for me. And that's why I like it when God brings girls into my life that either like are still working or they're like, they want to get out of it. And like, or I have like clients in my skincare business that are all like, these girls they're young, right? They're doing what is it called? OnlyFans.
That's fucking huge.
Yeah, a lot of these girls, and so I'm doing their facials, and they're telling me about all their money in this OnlyFans, and I'm like, fuck, like where was that when I was out?
Because
we
had actually work,
see
but
people.
They're making more. Yeah, they can do it from their house.
We gotta do stuff, and they're just behind their camera, and I'm like, this is fucking wrong.
Yeah.
So maybe my next life I'll come back and do OnlyFans. I don't know.
Not that you would ever get into it, but would you? Anything like that, so OnlyFans, that'd kind of go against you too, right?
Can't do it. No, can't do anything unspiritual or I'm getting loaded, right? I have to live by that principled living. And that's why I think I can talk so openly about my past career and stuff because like it really was a career to me. I remember seeing this one therapist and she said, look, like instead of beating yourself up, instead of like feeling guilty and ashamed and like, gross about yourself, like tell your story and like talk about it, right? Like that was your life, right? 20 years of that career. It was a career, right? And it really was. So I don't have any regrets and I don't have any shame about it. But I also know that's because I don't live that way anymore. My oldest daughter's 15 and I remember I was writing a chapter in a book. Sorry, guys. I did publish a chapter in a book. It is called, what is it called? You've Got This, Mama.
Nice.
It's like a chicken soup for the soul kind of book. Like each woman has a chapter. Anyways, and I asked my daughter, I said, I'm going to talk about the escorting. Like, but unless you don't want me to, if you don't want me to, it won't be published. Oh, she was like, Mom, I don't care what you say about that because you don't live that way today.
Yes.
She's like a kid. She was like 12 at the time. She's like, I don't care who you tell and what you talk about. And so that's how my husband feels too. That's not my life today.
That's why I talk about my stuff because I'm not doing that anymore.
No, and that's incredible. Like, look at the life that you've had and like the degenerate way we lived, and now we're like not degenerates.
I know.
It's crazy. It's miraculous.
Most people don't make it out, right?
No.
A lot of people are.
Like, I mean, I was entrenched. Like, that went on for 20 years, right? No square job. No, like, I'm not going, like, I've got a couple diplomas. Like, I did do school here and there, but like, that's my job, right? Like, it's crazy. And now I have my own skincare business and like, you know.
What's February 3rd, your sobriety date? What year?
No, January 19th.
Is it January 19th?
But my cake is February 3rd. You coming? You coming? Yeah.
That's right. I can't. Is that 6 or 7 years?
6. Right?
Fucking
so
right.
now like within my marriage or like with my relationship, I've been sober longer than I've been fucked up. Right. So that's kind of a gift too. Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, with my 2 little kids, like they only know me sober. Right. And Shay's just amazing. She's the most like resilient, beautiful little like warrior. I just love her to death. Right. So she was like 8 when I sobered up. She's been through a lot, but I think I like scared her straight because she's like the straightest teenager.
Yeah.
Like me and you, 15, fuck.
Not good.
She's like she's actually where she says she's going. She's actually there. She's not dying in a field, like overdosing on drugs and alcohol.
Alcoholism.
Oh my God. She's great. Yeah. So I'm pretty lucky. I'm pretty blessed. And, you know, like, I just think like back to like those times and like even talking with you today, it's like super therapeutic, right? It's really healing when you get to like talk about it more. Like, cause I've got like 2 girlfriends that used to work, like we're working girls. So I don't have a lot of friends. We don't like, I don't get a lot of, I haven't told that balloon story in a while, right? It's been a minute. I like to think of those times. Yeah. Like I got stories. I could write a book. I should probably write a book.
I think you will. I hate how we're gonna have to cut this short.
Yeah.
But I try to keep these episodes to 45 minutes, so I'm definitely gonna get you on again.
All right.
Jill, I wanna thank you so much. I'm like fucking glowing. This is so good.
This is your glow job, Dougie. It's not your blow job. It's your glow job.
Well,
You're welcome.
And I appreciate you coming on. We'll have you on here again, of course, if you will. And I just think it's good to educate people, right? To talk about our history and stuff. And obviously we're not doing that stuff now. And somebody might be listening to this and they might be like, oh my God, I'm fucked or whatever.
Yeah.
Now it's like we're not doing that stuff or living that crazy. And, do you want to shout out anything, your business, anything?
No.
You don't have to. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no. I think we're good. I mean, I really appreciate you having me on, and it was just like super good. Yeah.
I guess we'll both look at the camera.
Okay.
This has been another episode, guys.
Woohoo!
Subscribe,
Is this where I flash
share.
My titties? Oh, I don't live like that anymore. Sorry, guys.
That's for the Patron or the OnlyFans.
Yeah.
We'll have an OnlyFans episode just the one time.
All right.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.